Okay, what is really Babylon? What is the word Babylon? Okay, all right. So I'm sure that many of us probably understand this already, but at least we can, we can be reminded on how we can actually uh, respond to the question, uh, that, it says there that we cannot call the church Babylon. We cannot, the church can never become Babylon. So there's so many questions regarding that. They think that the church can never become Babylon. But what is really the word Babylon? It says here, let me, to be able to understand this, para maintindihan natin ito. Okay, wala namang Amerikano dito. No? Okay, actually we have Brother Joel only. In order for us to understand this topic, we need to lay aside, it says here in 1 Peter 2, 1 and 2, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speaking, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. We need to set aside our preconceived ideas, lay them at the door, MYP 260, it says here, in your study of the word, lay at the door of investigation your preconceived opinions, your hereditary and cultivated ideas. You will never reach the truth if you study the scriptures to vindicate your own ideas. Leave this at the door. So anything, your preconceived ideas, you have to leave them at the door, and then be open-minded, be teachable, so that you can actually understand, what God has to say regarding this Babylon. Now, can a church, the question is, can a church that is chosen by God can become Babylon? Okay, that is one of the question. Now, did it happen in the history that a church who was once chosen by God became Babylon? Okay, according to Ecclesiastes 3:15, it says, which is to be, had it been. We need to look back history of what happened in the history, because, Solomon is telling us that what has been in the past, it says here, is now, it's going on right now. Okay? And which is to be, what is going to come in the future had already been. In other words, is been happening. So we need to look back the history. And why we need to look back history? Because according to Signs of the Times, November 8, 1899, history repeats itself. So that means history is going to repeat itself. All right, these are some of the questions that we need to find out in this short study. Can a church that is in apostasy be called Babylon? Can a church who was once pure but now is corrupt can be called Babylon? Can any church who sacrifices the truth and the approval of God in order to form an unlawful alliance with the world be called Babylon? That's number 3. Number 4, can a church that is a harlot be called Babylon? Many people are having accepting that, it's okay to accept a harlot, and then, but not Babylon, but can a church that is a harlot be called Babylon? So we'll find out. Can any religious body or church that is worldly be called Babylon? That's number 5. Number 6, can a church who teach we cannot attain perfection and who denies the pre-existence of Christ prior to his birth in Bethlehem and advocating Sunday worship be called Babylon? Let's find out some of this question. We'll try to answer them one by one. So number 1, let's go to the number 1 question. Can a church that is in apostasy be called Babylon? Okay, let's find out. In Revelation 17, this is the text. In Revelation 17, Babylon is represented as a woman, a figure which is used in the Bible as the symbol of a church. Okay, a virtuous woman representing a pure church, a vile woman, and a apostate church. So Babylon actually is an apostate church. That's what it says here in Great Controversy. Another quotations, the same book. The term Babylon is derived from Babel and signifies confusion. It is employed in scriptures to designate the various forms of false or apostate religion. So, church that is in apostasy, that is Babylon. Here in Christ Subject Lesson 178, concerning Babylon, the symbol of the apostate church. So Babylon is actually an apostate church. Now the question is, how about our own Is-Day church? Now we know that in 1844, all the Protestant churches were denounced by God's people as Babylon fallen. That was in 1844. The only church that was not denounced because they did not exist yet, that was the Is-Day church only, because they were organized in 1863. But right now, how about the Is-Day church where we came from? Is it engaged in apostasy? Are they in apostasy? Can they be called Babylon? Because Babylon is an apostate church. It says here in, where is this? This is found in Letter 326, December 4, 1905. Okay, it says here, one thing is certain, is soon to be realized. The great apostasy, which is developing and increasing and waxing stronger, and will continue to do so until the Lord shall descend from heaven with a shout. In other words, the Is-Day church is actually in apostasy right now. And this apostasy will continue to be waxing stronger and will continue to do so until Jesus descends from heaven with a shout. So in other words, our own church, where we came from, is engaged in apostasy. And because they are in apostasy, then they can be described as Babylon, because Babylon is an apostate church. Okay, as simple as that. We don't need another "Thus saith the Lord." This is one of the description of what is Babylon. Babylon is an apostate church. So any church that is engaged in apostasy, that is Babylon. Okay, so that is quotations from the writings of Ellen G. White. Now another one. Can a church who was once pure but now is corrupt can be called Babylon? So a church who was once pure and when it's corrupted, can it be called Babylon? Oh yes, let's find out. Here in 4SP 232, it says here, but the message announcing the fall of Babylon must apply to some religious body that was once pure and has become corrupt. So in other words, the message of Revelation 14, remember verse 8, announcing the fall of Babylon, applies to any religious body that was once pure and has become corrupt. Okay, so any church that was once pure and is corrupt, it is Babylon. Okay, another quotations from Greek Controversy, it is very similar actually. Applies to religious bodies that were once pure and have become corrupt. Okay. Another quotations for SP 233 paragraph. Babylon the harlot is the mother of daughters who follow her example of corruption. That is for SP 233 paragraph 1. Now, is our own church, the Is-Day church where we came from, is it corrupt? The question is it corrupt? Do we have quotations to support that our own church where we came from has been corrupted? Let's find out. It says here, this is taken from Testimonies to Ministers, paragraph, page 359, paragraph 1. I do not find rest in spirit. Sin after sin is presented in symbols before me, and I find no rest until I begin to write out the matter. At the center of the work, matters are being shaped so that every other institution is following in the same course. And the General Conference is itself becoming corrupted with wrong sentiments and principles. This was written 1895. In other words, the General Conference has been corrupted ever since 1895. Okay? That's why in volume 8 of the Testimonies, 67, paragraph 3, Christ sorrows and weeps over our churches. So see, Christ was crying over our institutions of learning that have been failed to meet the demand of God. He comes to investigate the Battle Creek, which has been moving in the same track as Jerusalem. The publishing house has been turned into desecrated shrines, into a place of unholy merchandise and traffic. It has become a place where injustice and fraud has been carried on, where selfishness, malice, envy, and passion have borne sway. In other words, our own church, where we came from, has been corrupted. And that's why Christ has been crying, because our churches, has been moving in the same track as Jerusalem. Remember, Jerusalem has been destroyed because they rejected Christ as their Messiah. All right, can a church who sacrifices the truth and the approval of God in order to form an unlawful alliance with the world be called Babylon? So when you sacrifice any truth, any truth in order to form an unlawful alliance with the enemy of Christ, can you be called Babylon? Let's find out. It says here, Babylon is said to be the mother of harlots. By her daughters must be symbolized churches that cling to her doctrines and traditions and follow her example of sacrificing the truth and the approval of God in order to form an unlawful alliance with the world. So Babylon actually sacrificed any truth to form an unlawful alliance with the enemy of God. Now, how about our SDE church? Has our own SDE church been sacrificing any truth to form an unlawful alliance with the enemy? Let's find out. It says here, these are some of the, you can actually get this from the Google and also from the YouTube, that our own SDE church, this is from the, they have been ordaining women as pastors, and these are women pastors that have received certificate that they have their own church, they are the one leading in the church, and that's not biblical. We're not supposed to ordain women as pastors, taking care of a church and baptizing any converts. No, the Bible is very clear, very specific, that only men are supposed to do that. We're all ministers. God has ordained us to be ministers for Christ, but to be specific, being set aside for that specific purpose, you're not supposed to do that. Okay, it is in violation of God's truth. And it says here the LGBT, and so there's so many things that we can actually agree with, that they're actually sacrificing. Our church has been sacrificing truth in order to form an unlawful alliance with the enemy of Christ. Okay, and that cannot be denied. Now, can a church that is a harlot be called Babylon? People are having a problem that, oh no, a harlot is a harlot, Babylon is a Babylon. They cannot accept that actually a harlot is Babylon. They think that Babylon is a very bad name. Harlot is okay, but Babylon, no. But it says here, can a church that is a harlot be called Babylon? It says here in 4 SP 233, paragraph 1. In Revelation 17, Babylon is represented as a woman, a figure in which is used in the scripture as the symbol of a church. Okay? Symbol of a church.